Welcome to the Church Sound Podcast, where kingdom culture, real life, and technology intersect. I'm your host, Prentice Thompson, along with the pastor, Caleb Winley. We're here to help you get through Sunday. Did you hear the pastor? What about your live streams, social media? We provide solid solutions for all of your multimedia needs. Let's learn something today. Let's go. Day in the neighborhood. And if you're watching this on YouTube, you're like, what the heck is going on? How come it's not the Zoom thing? It's something different. Quick notation. My wife is out of town. My wife is out of town.
There it is.
So she's going to see this and go, what? How did you did? I can't believe it.
Yeah,
I just can't believe it. Well, you take advantage of your opportunities.
Sure.
You know, when the cat's away, the mice will play, and I play creatively.
Yeah.
I play creatively. So I try to take advantage of this beautiful space that my wife has redesigned our whole place.
Yeah.
Incredible. It's incredible. I feel like I'm living down on Park Avenue.
Yeah, you are, bro.
But we're up in the Bronx. Yeah. Anyway, welcome to episode number 67. How you doing, brother?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm tired, but I'm good. I feel like I'm always tired. Have you noticed that?
That's because you got children. You got childrens. You got
responsibilities.
Children's and responsibilities.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Good day, man. You know,
how you doing?
You know, that's the first time you've ever asked me.
Yo, you know, it's funny because I'm just like saying to myself, I never get the chance to ask him how he's doing.
You know what the funny thing is? I don't get many phone calls like that from anybody.
Really?
I don't get many texts about that from anybody. Literally. It's usually me checking on everybody.
Okay,
hey, what's up? Are you good? You know?
Sure.
Yes, I don't. That don't happen too often.
Wow. We got to change that.
Yeah, that'd be, you know.
Yeah,
but otherwise, you know, I'm busy. I got a lot going on. I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm in good health.
Okay.
This time last year, I was recovering from major surgery, and thank God, recovery is still in progress and it's going well.
Yeah.
So I'm happy about that.
That's good.
So those of you who are listening, welcome to episode number 67. And today we're going to talk about something I'm pretty sure if you are in your AV department, you have run into this. Your pastor came to you and he said, or she said, I want to start a podcast. And you have no idea about what a podcast, you know what a podcast is, but you have no idea where to begin.
Sure. Yeah.
And being that we're in this digital age, it's very important for us to be able to explain to these people in these departments, our essential workers,
exactly
what you need to have a quality podcast, and then go through the different types of podcasts. So before we get into that, let's pay some bills. We'll thank our sponsor, Metro Podcast Studio, the hottest podcast studio in New York City. If you happen to be in the New York City area, hit them up. They're right down on 24th Street and Broadway, right in the heart of New York City. Beautiful facility. And you want remote recordings, you want in-studio recordings, editing, post-production, they can definitely help you. Hit them up, metropodcaststudio.com for all of your podcasting needs. So we're going to do like we do every week. Those of you who are our first-time listeners, or second or third time, or you just tuned in, you just found us. Welcome aboard. We're going to get into what we do, Sunday School, and what Sunday School is the funny stories that we have that we deem funny or hilarious or just simply interesting that happens in church.
Right.
So this week, the man on the mic is the good pastor. So let's get ready for Sunday School.
Okay, class, it's time. Time for Sunday School.
Hey, guys, so let's get it. You know how we do, those that don't, catch up. This is what we do. I give 3 points. My brother, he's going to pick 3. He's going to pick one out of the 3. And, we're going to rock on. So you follow along. So the first point is temperament. temperament.
Really? All three?
Temperament. Second point is time, talent, treasure. Time, talent, treasure. And
what is this, like the three bears? Like the 3 blind mice? Like, what the heck, man? It's like the continent test? Like
something like that. And so the third point is simple: duck.
Duck?
Duck.
So this is the consonant test.
Yeah.
So
the first one, temperament, right?
okay.
Then you have time, talent, treasure. And the third one is duck.
A lot of T's in there, boy.
Except for the last one.
Yeah, because you need the duck because of all the T's. I'm gonna go with the first one. I think that's apropos.
Yeah, that's fine.
Based on I don't know why, what, and how, but
amazing.
I'll just hey,
my boy here. So this is a funny but yet reflecting kind of a story, and it kind of goes alongside of the podcast that we just recently did when we spoke about being a leader under an aggressive leader. And so there was a young brother in a ministry which I will not reveal, and
undisclosed location.
Yeah, undisclosed location. Somewhere.
Somewhere.
You know,
somewhere in the ether on the planet.
Exactly, where there are alive people. And so I'm putting my own self on a hot seat. So this individual who I'm responding to is one of those guys that they live very close to the location that they're supposed to be at, but are always 35 minutes late, an hour and a half late, 2 hours late. And so in this particular day, we had already had a meeting prior to Sunday service. And I said, look, guys, I need you all to be on time. There's going to be some major changes that are taking place. You need to be here on time. And so, we get in, the whole team comes in, praise and worship, our media team, we're about to have our little meeting. And here comes my brother strolling in. Like, just me. And if I said what he had on him, that would kind of reveal who he is.
Okay.
So he's strolling in, and then he sits down, and I continue the last 5 minutes of my meeting, and we finish. And so now at this particular moment, we've now shifted. So now we're going to the direction where, okay, we're going to start testing mics, doing line check, making sure everybody sounds good, sounds wonderful. Guess what? This brother, I love him dearly, decides that he's going to take out an instrument that we did not practice with.
I already know who this is.
And start just playing it.
I already know who this is.
Just playing it. And so I'm already upset.
Oh, gosh.
From the fact that I had a conversation with you prior the day before I told you to be on time.
Oh, God.
We're not on time.
Oh, God.
Now you pull out an instrument that you did not practice with. And I'm trying to understand what's going on. So now I'm in the booth. So, because I know, I'm telling myself I got to stay far away from this individual or I am going to lose it. And I'm the type of person, I can be aggressive, and forceful. And a lot of times my wife calls me a jerk because I don't necessarily check what the things that I say.
Your wife calls you a jerk?
Yes, she does. Yeah.
You know what my wife calls me?
No.
Super jerk.
All right, well, you got the cape, bro.
I got a cape. I got the J on my chest. Everything, dude. SJ.
Bro, when I tell you the stuff that comes out of my mouth, sometimes she just looks at me and goes, something's wrong with you. I go, okay, so let's get back onto my brother. So now we're in the midst of service, and he just gets up and walks away from the drum.
So hold up. So that's the instrument?
That's the instrument.
Hold up. So
no. That's not the instrument. He starts
okay,
playing
okay,
now. He's playing something, and I'm kind of, for those that can't see, he starts to play an instrument that was not even in rehearsal. Now, when it's time for us to go directly, the person has prayed, the atmosphere has been set, and here it is. It's time for him to get that drum solo, get everybody charged up, and he walks away. And I've had it something in me just pops.
Okay,
So
it wasn't the Holy Ghost.
oh no.
It was the Holy Roast.
This was some hot. This was some straight. This was straight from.
Watch it now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if I had a gun, there'd have been a problem. And so I charged, walked myself. And back then, we didn't. Sometimes we bring our lights down in our service. We bring our lights down and kind of set a mood. This time the lights was fully up, and I step out and I go over and I said, "Brother, what is your problem?" And he's going, because I'm not saying it the way I'm saying it now. Okay, remember, atmosphere's been set, but not in me. Right at that moment, I'm losing on him, and I said, "Just get up there and do what you're told." Now that's aggression, but there's also, like my brother talked about, bitterness. Because I allowed something to kind of grow on the inside of me. I allowed this person to bring me to a place that I know I wasn't supposed to be to. But when I say, temperament, there comes a point in time when somebody is irritating you, check your temperament. Check where you are. Check your positioning. And I never did that. I just allowed this person to keep pushing and ebbing me on, and then until I walked in front of a full packed house.
Hold on, service started?
Yes, I told you praise and worship is taking place now.
God.
Prayer had already happened. I'm in front of service. I'm in front of people.
Oh, gosh.
And I am spazzing.
No.
And so at the end of the service, one of the pastors comes over to me and says, "Bro, look, we got to talk." And this is one of the brothers that kind of always was pulling my card. Not saying that I always had issues like this, but he always pulled my card for one reason or the other. He was like, "Bro, really? Really?"
Oh, gosh.
We have visitors. We have people out of town.
Oh,
and
God.
you chose today.
Oh, God.
And I literally had to go back to this brother, humble myself, and apologize in front of everybody because I was wrong in my approach.
You was wrong in front of everybody, so you apologize in front of everybody.
Yeah.
That's not in private.
Right.
In public.
Right. So I put it out there. But ultimately, what I learned from this is that the heart is very, very. It can be very tender. And so sometimes I had to learn how to protect my heart because I had to recognize that there's just certain people that they're where they are.
Right.
That's where they are. You know what I'm saying? And
right.
you got to be able to accept people for where they are. You might see something for them, but this is just where they are. And I can't allow where you are to take me where I'm not supposed to be. And so this was temperament.
Sunday school with the good pastor.
Yeah, the pastor.
The pastor. the good pastor.
With the knife man. It's crazy. But
wow. It's funny that you even say that because I went to a similar scenario.
Oh my goodness, really?
Yeah. So same individual.
No way.
So I was working on my first film, and this person would always ask me, "Hey, you doing some stuff? Let me know. I want to learn. I want to learn."
Yep.
And so I said, "Listen, be ready at da 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 da." And he calls me back like about 3 hours later. He says, "Is it okay if I bring my guitar?" I was like, "You're not gonna have time to pee."
Seriously?
Dead serious.
Oh my!
I was like, it's right. You've never been on a set before, so,
right.
Okay, I get it. Yeah. So there it is.
Wow.
Sunday school with the good pastor. In part two of Mr. SJ. Here you
go. For sure. So man, let's talk about it.
Yeah. So let me ask you a question.
Okay.
So if your leader walked up to you and said, "We need to do a podcast aside from Sunday service."
Okay.
What are the first questions you would ask?
Only because of what we've been doing, and what I've learned over almost 2 years now, right, bro? We've been at this almost.
We've been recording it almost.
Yeah. So just kind of, the first question I would ask the person is, "Do you have the time?" because doing a podcast is not just sitting down like we're doing. So we had to set time for this. We had to set mindset for this.
Yeah, set all this up that you're seeing. This took me a couple of hours.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? What you're seeing right now and what you're seeing us do, this wasn't like, oh, yeah, let me just toss a few things out there. But not even that. Do you have the time to dedicate your heart to this? Because standing up on a pulpit and maybe taking a couple of days to knock out a sermon is totally different from doing a podcast.
Right.
You have to be able to engage people. You got to keep people involved. There's so many bits and pieces that you have to do, things that you have to make sure that you check off. There's on your list, talk about, well, how can I get back to you? All of these things. And do you have the time? Because a lot of individuals think that a podcast is just me sitting in my office and just talking and I'll just put it out there and everybody will just love it. No. Where are you in your heart and where are you in your time area? Because that's very important, because the time we give, is the time, it has to be excellent. And a lot of times we just throw it out there, man. And that's one thing I had to learn. You got to really take the time to prepare your mind, prepare your heart, and then say, okay, I'm coming to this thing full. And if you can't do that, don't do it. So for me, that would be one of the first questions. It's funny. I'm sorry, bro. Our pastor did do that.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
And I went through a litany of things.
Oh, wow. And there's a change of heart.
Oh, completely. You know what I'm saying? Completely, because
I don't think so.
Right. It's not, I think sometimes, you can see somebody do a podcast from a viewer's perspective and think, oh, it's just that. He just put his phone on and then talked and then he hung up. No. It's work behind it.
Right.
What team do you have? All the things that you need. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I would say to a leader, what is it about?
Okay.
Because it has to be about something. It just can't be, I'm just going to talk. I find it interesting that you need to, if you say for instance, this is going to be Bible study.
Right.
But we're gonna have focused Bible study, or I want to talk about current events.
Okay.
In the biblical sense.
Right.
Or I'm going to just whatever it is. It has to be a niche.
Right.
It could be a niche specifically for your congregation, or it could be for the general public as a whole. Right. I would want to know what it's about.
That's good.
Because without that, then you can't really give any direction. Because, your man or woman of God may have an idea for a podcast, but someone has to produce it.
Right.
See what I'm saying?
Right.
Someone has to produce it. Someone has to say, okay, what's the topic for today? Like today, what's the topic for today?
Exactly. Yeah.
Someone has to say, okay, so these are the points we're gonna cover. What is it? And then this is the second one. How long is it?
Yeah, because it's not a sermon.
Right. It's not a sermon.
Right.
So if it's not a sermon, then what is it?
Right. You're right. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. If it's not a sermon, then what is it?
Right.
So you have to be able to articulate that. Like, what is the podcast?
That's
if you're saying if the podcast is, we're going to be out in nature.
Okay.
And we're going to pray. That's not a podcast.
Right.
That's like
I don't know what.
I don't know what that is. Okay.
I don't know. Intercessors in the air. I don't know what that is.
Intercessors in the air. That's funny. But I would definitely say that I learned this from listening to podcasts and listening to professionals, and they say that the riches are in your niches. Whatever your niche is, you have to hammer home your niche.
Okay.
So if your niche is, for instance, for this year we're going to go through the Bible, and for the month of August we'll go through the first 3 chapters of Genesis.
Right.
In detail, in great detail, and break it down, and whatever it is,
Okay.
it's in-depth Bible study.
Right.
Or you may take a scripture, like I said, and say, okay, we're going to take this scripture and apply it to today. What's in the news? So that's a niche. So this way people can say, okay, I want to apply the word to my life today. How do I apply my word to my life today? It could be we're going to talk about relationships. You know, it's Relationship Tuesday. Yeah. We're going to talk about marriage. We're going to talk about kids. We're going to talk about singles. We're going to talk about seasoned saints, widows. We're going to talk about intergenerational relationships and, you know, how to better communicate with your grandkids.
Right.
If you say it's relationship, then it has to be relationships.
Right.
See what I'm saying?
Right.
But these things, that's what you have to find out.
Sure.
If they can't articulate that, then they can't start a podcast.
Wow.
Because they don't have a vision.
So what do we say to the pastor or the leader that because they've been Zooming and they've been Facebook living and streaming and people have been seeing them and people love, you know, what they're doing. How do we help them differentiate that? Because now I know a pastor that feels like I can now do anything because I've been able to successfully pull this off. You know, like TV's on the horizon. Well, no. But how do we tell that pastor or help that pastor to recognize that there's a difference between what you just did as well as, based upon what you just said, and what you just did from that event that you did and doing an actual podcast that keeps people coming back?
I think you have to look at it as entertainment.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
You can look at it as your favorite channel, meaning that, okay, you may like Billions.
Okay. All right. I know
right?
Yeah.
You may like the show Billions. I love the show Billions.
Okay.
I know why I'm watching the show Billions.
Right.
Right?
Right.
It's maybe a certain podcast that I like to listen to. I know why I like to watch listen to that podcast.
Okay.
It may be some information. Like I have a list of podcasts that I listen to. I listen to filmmaking podcasts. I listen to spiritual podcasts, certain preachers that I like.
Right.
I listen to business podcasts, and then I listen to music podcasts.
Okay.
But most of the music podcasts are they're interviewed artists that I really like or people that I find interesting.
Right.
So those are the niches of those podcasts.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
So we understand that you have an audience if you're already doing live, if you're already doing your service, what have you, and you want to add an extra layer to your level of influence in the body or be able to touch people at a different way, then you have to find out what you want to say.
Right.
Because what you want to say is different than what you're preaching.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Unless it's together.
Right.
You may say, well, the podcast is going to be it's more of me breaking down the sermon from Sunday. Okay. Then what you're saying is if you don't watch the sermon,
right.
Then see what I'm saying? So that's shooting your foot off. Like, wow.
Right.
Or you make people listen to the podcast and then say, okay, I need to go listen to the sermon because it coincides with the podcast. You know, whatever it is.
Yeah.
You have to find out what it is. And I think the second thing is what type of podcast? Is it video? Is it audio? Is it audio and video?
Right.
Is it just audio?
Right.
Where are you recording this at?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Where are you recording this at?
Yeah.
How long is it?
Right.
What's the format that you want to follow? Are you going to do sponsored commercials? Are you looking to do that in the future?
Right.
Are you looking to have guests? Is it just a monologue?
Right.
Is it a mixture?
Got you. Sure. That's good.
If you have to, I would do this all the time with recording artists that would come to me that want me to produce them, or they say starting their project and they say, listen, I really want you to produce my project. My first question to them would be, and it's always still to this day, if you were in a record store, I know this is really dating me. Like I went to record stores. I went to record stores.
A record store.
A record store. A record store. So I had to change it, and I say, well, if you opened up your Spotify,
right,
and your album was your album was on the screen, who's to the left and who's to the right of you?
Right.
And that will tell me the type of artist that you think you are.
Oh, that's good.
Or the vision that you think you...
That's good.
The vision that you have for your future. Like, you haven't started any music.
Right.
But I can get a picture. Oh, okay, so you're more lyrical. Oh, a lot of harmonies I hear. Okay, so you like heavy backgrounds, or you're a balladeer, or you like up tempo, or you just dance music,
dope,
whatever
bro.
it is.
That's dope.
So this way I can get a picture as a producer and say, okay, so this is what we need to do.
Right.
And this is the way we want to go. And then a lot of times what happens, like during the process of producing a record, it kind of shifts, because then what happens, the artist then begins to find their identity.
Right.
And then and the more you work, the more they find out who they are. And then the album they might have picked in the very beginning of the process, it's not the album they would pick at the end of the process.
That's good. That's really good, bro. That says to me that, identify who you are before you allow everybody else to hear you.
But sometimes you don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I could tell you this 100 times, man. Discovering yourself as a creative, you have to go through the process of creating. In the process of creating,
this is true.
In the process of creating are pitfalls, mistakes, what I thought I was, what I'm not, what I'm good at, what I'm not good at.
Right.
But you can't find it out unless you start.
Right. You
can't go in your head, well, it appears to be in my mind.
Right.
That I am a balladeer. And in all your songs at 125 beats per minute, like, you're not a balladeer. You want to be a balladeer.
Right.
But you
got your aspirations.
You got your aspirations.
Right.
But you sound like a ukulele when you sing. So we all know that you can't be a balladeer, so you be a ukulele. So I play professional ukulele. What do you do? Hip hop music. You don't know.
Right.
No, you don't. You don't do hip hop music.
Right.
You no.
Yeah, you do.
You play bluegrass.
Exactly.
So I think that it's the identity of finding out your identity, but you can't find it out until, like, I give you the perfect example. It's like when we started the show.
Yeah.
When we started the show, we kind of knew.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I because I'm strategy guy.
Right.
You know
Right.
I'm strategy guy. Yes. Change your face. Like your mama said. He was like, fix your face. Fix your face. I'm strategy guy.
Okay.
I'm like, this is how the show's going to start. This is what we're here. It's going to be this long.
Yeah.
A segment. But that's what you're supposed to do.
Right.
In the middle of that, you may find out, oh, that's not going to work. Or you may say, no, it'd be cool if we added this. That's how 30 Seconds and Gone started.
Exactly, right.
Because 30 Seconds and Gone wasn't in the first bunch of shows.
Nope.
But I was like, you know what? We have an icebreaker in the very beginning, and we give them all this pertinent information. How about we have like a little short Q&A that would be swift right before the out?
Right.
Because then what happens is people will tune in to these certain areas. They look for these certain areas. So it's just not us talking.
Yeah.
It's us sharing from a human perspective, not just a spiritual perspective, not just from a technical perspective, but it's a holistic perspective. So you get the whole person, and then when we're interviewing people, we get to see another side of them. Because I'm not going to ask you, was Daniel in the lion's den? I'm not going to ask you that question. Who parted the Red Sea? I don't know. David? Hold on. Josiah. No. Hold up. The Red Sea, right? The Red Sea. Who parted the Red Sea?
It was Jezebel.
That's who it was. Jezebel.
That's why how her lips got red.
I know. That's how her lips got red, because she parted the Red Sea, and it was 9 tribes of Judah.
That's it.
You know what I'm saying? And, no, I'm not going to ask you them questions. I'm going to ask you, like, you like Nikes, Adidas.
Right.
Because then it gives you...
Right, because you want to bring them down to earth. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I want to let the listener know that you're going to hear something a little bit more deeper, because the guest is usually not expecting that.
Yeah.
They're not expecting that. They're not expected to be asked, like, you like Tupac or Biggie.
Right.
You'd be like, oh, no, I like Hillsong, you know?
I'm Bethel all day.
To who?
Right.
To who?
Right.
To who? Tupac?
Tupac.
Who's
that?
Is that a new dance of some sort? I'm not sure. And Biggie, I'm not big at all. You know? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, So it's like,
Oh, man,
that's the
rough.
reason why,
Yeah.
you know, I felt the added.
Right.
So, but you can't find it out until
you
first
get in it.
till you get in it and you do some research, because I said, no, that'd be cool to do, because I heard a couple of other shows do it, but they did it differently.
Okay.
But it's still a format of Q&A. Mm-hmm. It's a format of quick answers and explanation of answers.
Gotcha.
So I would say, like, what's the format? Then that's probably the next question I would definitely ask, aside from where you're recording it, and do you want guests? Then I would ask, do you want to call in guests?
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to do Zoom?
Right.
And if you're doing Zoom, are we using the video for Zoom, or are we just capturing the audio for Zoom?
Okay.
Are you doing phone calls? Are you like whatever the format is?
Sure.
Because the equipment, the format shapes the equipment.
That's good. Yeah, you're right.
Because if you're doing a video podcast,
you got to get a camera,
and you got to get lights,
right? Yeah, you're right.
And you got to have an editor.
Exactly. Yeah. You got to have all that.
You got to have all that. So and then it's like then my last question. One of the questions I would have is well, how many times a month is it going to air? And why?
That's good. Right. Because
it's more or less, doing a podcast is like preparing dinner. You know, it's 6. We eat at 7.
Right.
So at 7 o'clock, you expecting to eat. Like when I get off work, and my wife cooks something, like she's gonna feed me before 8.
Gotcha.
So the latest she's gonna feed me is 8 o'clock. So I know when I get off work, I'm just gonna sit down because I know I got a meal coming.
Right.
And it's gonna probably be about between 7 and 8 o'clock.
Right.
Well, your listeners have an appetite as well. So if you programmed your listeners to say, I want to listen to your show because you told me that your show was bi-weekly,
right,
Wednesday, 6 p.m.
Yeah.
Then my dinner is Wednesday, bi-weekly, 6 p.m.
Right. So good. Yeah. I think that was one of the reasons why I talked about time, because there has to be that. You have to make time for this,
right?
You know, and that's the serious part. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people just like, I'm gonna do it. Yeah, but I love the fact that you talk about just that. What's your niche? What is it that you want to present to the world that when they come in on a Sunday they don't get?
That's good.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because if I can get that on a Sunday, what I need to listen to your podcast for?
Right.
So yeah, man.
Yeah,
that's dope.
Yeah, I think that the misnomer about podcasts is that it seems easy.
Mm-hmm.
And some people get into it for the wrong reasons. And this is what I mean by the wrong reasons. Like with anything.
Okay.
And I would tell this to people, especially, you know, young people that come to me and want my advice about music.
Okay, yeah.
I'll ask them why they want to do it.
Right.
If you're doing it and the first thing out of your mouth, because I want to get paid, I know you're not going to last.
Right. Because the moment the money ain't coming, you out.
It's not even that. You don't have the stamina. You don't have the stamina. Because just like with a podcast, I heard this from Deion Sanders. And if everyone here knows, well, everyone should know, I'm a sports guy.
Yeah, he's a sports.
I'm a sports
fanatic
guy. Deion Primetime is like one of my favorite people as a player and as a person to watch.
Yeah.
He said that your passion will drive you, and when your frustration kicks in, your discipline will keep you.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
So
that's good.
If you're doing this for I want my podcast to blow up. I want to get sponsors. You know, because you're looking at someone you're looking at these other individuals who are now saying, yeah, we make $10,000 a month from our selling ads on our podcast and this and that. Yeah, if I could do that, then I could do this, and then you're in it for the wrong reasons.
Right.
So what happens is, because you're going to hit a wall, you're going to be excited at first. It's like having a new girl.
Yep.
In a new relationship.
Yeah.
Woo! Oh, she fine.
Yep.
And after a while, you get married.
Yeah.
And you wake up and you go like, and 3 years later.
Yeah.
Like you don't have that same.
Oh no! That enthusiasm.
You don't have that.
Yeah.
But what keeps you is your discipline and your commitment, because love is not a feeling.
Right.
Love is an action.
Exactly.
It's what you do.
Right.
So with podcasting, it's not what you say.
Right.
It's what you do.
Got you.
So your audience, looking at it this way, I know I'm talking a lot.
No, it's good.
The bride of Christ.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, think of it that way.
Right.
We are preparing a meal for the bride.
Right.
So,
right.
We treat our listeners like a relationship.
Right.
Because what are we trying to do on our podcast? Your podcast, you're trying to decipher information. Mm-hmm. You're trying to build a rapport with people that people can get the information from you.
Yeah.
So they can use the information.
Right.
That's why we do the podcast.
Right.
Our podcast is about teaching people, teaching churches, teaching staff about life and ministry, about information, how to implement and use into your service so that you can feed the bride of Christ.
Right.
We're providing information to help you go fishing.
Sure. Effectively. Yeah.
Consistently.
Yeah.
So you have to treat your podcast like you the husband.
That's good.
Because you're trying to woo them to you.
Yeah.
So you can share with them.
And that's on a consistent basis.
Consistency.
Yeah.
So if you're just doing it because Pastor such and such is doing it, then that's the wrong reason.
Yeah.
If you're doing it because, well, if I do this, I can make some money, you're doing it for the wrong reason. That's not a reason.
Right.
That's an excuse. It's not a reason.
That's good.
The excuse is that you broke and you want to make some money.
Yeah.
That's the real reason.
Right. Yeah. But there are other things that you should be trying to do.
Right. I want to blow up.
Than a podcast.
Right. I want to blow up. Yeah, I want to be a big podcaster. That's not a reason.
No.
But I want to be a superstar. That's not a reason.
Right. Because you just seen Jesus and all these other guys.
Right.
You're like, oh,
I could do that.
No, you can't.
Exactly. So it's like, why are you doing it?
Yeah.
What's the real reason why you doing this podcast?
Right.
And if you can't definitively tell me why, then as the department head, I'm gonna speak to as a department head, and the church is the AV of the audiovisual live ministry. You have to be able to have those questions answered,
right?
Because then what's going to happen is the leader's going to spin their wheels, because they don't know,
right?
Then this is going to happen. Then you're going to feel frustrated because you feel like you're wasting your time.
Sure. Right. But the truth of the matter is the person doesn't have any direction.
Right. So,
wow.
So taking on a podcast is, you have to understand, I would say, your positioning, meaning that, okay, Pastor, you want to start a podcast. Mm-hmm. What's my role?
Right. Yeah.
Because I would probably do that before I would do all the things we talked about prior. I would say, what's my role? Because maybe somebody else is going to produce it. You just need the equipment. Mm-hmm. Okay, maybe you don't need my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Okay, I'm on staff, and you're gonna come in on Tuesdays and record it in your office. Okay, cool. I'll be there with the equipment.
Right.
Da. Okay, am I editing? Is someone else editing?
Right.
What's my role?
Right. That's good. That's really good. Yeah.
Because if my role is, man, I need to do everything. I can wait. What's the editor?
Right.
I got a cheese shredder in the kitchen.
Right.
You know, I got a cheese shredder in the kitchen.
Yeah.
You know, they cut the cheese.
Right.
Do a cooking show. We gonna do a cooking
Amazing.
Cooking with the Holy Ghost, with making cheese eggs. We're gonna do different versions of cheese eggs as a show, and we're gonna call it Cheese Eggs with Jesus. Cheese Eggs with Jesus. And we have different. And this week we're gonna do mozzarella, and tomorrow we're gonna do smart cheddar. Not smart, sharp. You know what I'm saying? So you just be like, and the one with the holes in it, what that called? It Swiss Army knife.
Oh yeah,
I call it gunshot. Gunshot cheese. Gunshot cheese.
Gunshot.
Gotcha. You know, it's like, what are we doing here, Pastor?
You might as well do a comedy show, Pastor. I'm sorry, not trying to make it up. You know, you should really just, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, blue cheese, yellow cheese. Blue cheese.
Gosh.
We're gonna do blue cheese omelet.
Blue
cheese omelet. You ain't never had no blue cheese omelet, boy.
No. Yeah.
Get the blue, get the blue cheese omelet.
That's a done deal. You spending some time somewhere you don't want to be. Oh man.
Yeah, so those are important and pertinent questions that you definitely want to have answers to.
Yeah.
Because without the answers to those questions, then what happens is confusion sets in.
Sure. You know, it's funny. This week I had a conversation with a young lady, and she's a pastor. Or she's going into the pastoral, and she asked me a question. Well, how do you do a podcast? And I think the first thing I asked her was,
Run!
I was about to go there, but I said, are you disciplined enough? I said, I understand you have a certain monicum of discipline for certain things, but do you have the discipline to I said, speaking on a podcast and building a podcast are two different things. I said, it's not just you with a list and just running through the list and saying, okay, that has been a podcast for the day, and God bless you all, and I will see you next week. Well, what reason are they going to come back? Is it scripted? Is it ready? Is it polished? Is it clean? Mm-hmm. Is it something that you would want to watch or you would want to sit down and listen to?
Right.
I said, because if you don't like you, why do you think anybody else would like you?
Right.
You know, and so she was like, when she walked away, she said, wow, I'm going to think about this. I said, yeah, maybe you might just want to get a Zoom call and see how many people connect. I mean, don't just go jumping out in the water, and you can't swim.
Right.
So, but yeah, it's important that we make it clean and clear. I think that's dope, man. That's dope. Really getting that identifying markers to say, this is why I'm doing it. Because at the end of the day, that's what keeps me doing it. Is why what did I agree to and why are we doing this? Mm-hmm. I get my passion out of that. You know what I'm saying? It's not, oh man, we didn't reach our mark yet. We didn't hit that point yet. So yeah, I think I'm gonna bounce. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? It's just not that. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's important.
Yeah,
that's so important.
It's important because that's the thing that keeps you. Because those of you who are podcasters that are listening to this show, or those of you who are thinking about starting a podcast, mm-hmm. understand this is not easy.
Yeah,
it's not easy.
Yeah,
it requires more time than you think it does.
Yeah, it does.
And in order to get the most out of it, you have to do a lot of research. Mm-hmm. Do a lot of research, because what you want to do is make sure you're handing something to your audience that they can digest.
Right.
Like, what are they walking away with?
Right.
In our case, we want you to walk away with information.
Right.
And our information is about help.
Yeah.
We want to help you.
Yeah.
So our whole moniker is about help. Help with the technology. Yeah. Help with your life inside of ministry. Help with your life outside of ministry.
Sure. Yep.
How that interacts, how that intermingles. That's the audience.
Yeah.
That's the audience. Pastors, leaders, musicians.
Yeah.
Just people who just attend church.
Right.
That's our audience.
Right.
Our audience is not Clara Ann who does crochet.
Right. Right.
Our audience is not a sports show.
Right.
Our audience is not someone talking about car racing.
Right. No, you're right. You're right.
So you have to know what you're talking about, what your audience is, and you have to maintain a specific relationship with your audience.
Yeah.
So I would say to pastors out there, if you're really, really thinking about doing a podcast, make that the first thing on your list. Get a list of podcasts that you like, and figure out why you like it, and why do you think that what you're saying will be powerful enough for people to tune in, because you just don't want to have your church just listening to it.
Yeah, because they have to.
Right.
We love you.
Right. You just don't want to have your church listening to it. You want several people, thousands, millions of people listening to it. That should be the goal.
Right.
That you want as many people, you want to reach as many people as possible. What are you saying to those people? Why would they want to tune in? Why would they come back? How many times a week are you going to do it? Can you maintain a schedule to do your first 100 podcasts?
Yeah.
Can you do 100 straight?
That's so true.
Because let me tell you something. When life kicks in, like we're recording on a day that we don't normally record on because life kicked in.
Yep.
In order to get the show out on time in a timely manner, there are things that you have to sacrifice. It's the sacrifice of doing it for the greater good, because we're here to help. We're trying to help churches, ministries, people inside of the ministry, outside the ministry, to be effective in their gifting.
Absolutely. You're right. You're right. That's what we want. So we have to make some adjustments. Are you willing to make those adjustments? That's the important. That's a really important question. Because it's great in the beginning, but like you said, there's that dating, courting time, but then there's that you need that staying power to get to the end. And a lot of people fail in the middle because it's not as frilly as it was when we began. And now all of a sudden you're saying, well, when is it ever gonna blossom? When is it ever gonna become something? It will, but that's in God's hands. So now my responsibility, just like your responsibility, is to tie myself to Him and say, God, you said I was supposed to do this. Okay, well then why is it not where it is? Why you got into us in the first place is what keeps you in it. And that's gotta be your driving force. So we're not telling you not to get a podcast. We're not telling you not to start one. But we are asking the questions of, or at least just saying, these are kind of the questions you got to ask yourself, because this is serious business. This, as important as preaching a message, this is still preaching a message.
Right.
It really is.
Right.
It really is.
Right. So I hope you guys have gotten something from this.
Yeah.
I pray this has been a blessing. If you are listening to this, do us one or two things, or all of these things. Like, subscribe, review. It keeps the podcast moving forward in the forward trajectory. If you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you hit the notification button and subscribe.
Yeah.
Understanding that why we're doing this is to help you, our audience, our fans, and people who are interested in learning about technology in church, life in church, ministry, if you will, when it comes to doing AVL, audio, video, live. We want to make sure that you guys sign up for the newsletter.
Yes.
Please sign up for the newsletter. We have a lot of things coming.
Yeah.
Sneak peek. We're going to should probably put the commercial for the mini course on here.
Okay. Yeah, definitely.
All right, so Yeah. So you'll see the commercial should be playing in a minute.
Right.
And so we have some things coming. So this mini course is definitely about small churches, and some of you guys are small churches, and you only have a phone, and you don't know what to do. You want to live stream your service, but your service sounds and looks horrible. We're building a course for small church or churches at whole,
right?
How to live stream with a mobile device. So it's going to be a course coming your way. It's going to be a free book coming your way, and some other things that we have down the pike. So make sure you subscribe. Go to the website. Make sure you sign up. It'll put you in pocket so you get those discounts first when they go live.
Right.
So this week, 30 seconds and gone.
Am I ready?
I'm ready. Are you ready for my question?
Help. Yeah, I'm ready.
You ready?
Yeah. Let's do this.
So here we go. 30 seconds and gone.
No doubt.
Favorite video editor?
Favorite video editor? Final Cut.
Final Cut, what version?
Actually, I'm doing a new one now, so Final Cut, that would be 11? Is it 11?
I think it's 10. Final Cut 10.
10 point, it's 10 point, I think the new one is 10.7 now. Yeah, I got to get it to you.
I have it.
Oh, So yeah, Final Cut. I love it. The ease of it is just, it works for me. You know, I've tried Premiere, but it's just, it's too much. It's too much. Anyway, let's go, bro. Come on.
All right. Question number 2.
Yeah. All right.
How married are you to your iWatch?
Ha! I am a card-carrying Apple enthusiast. I can't even front. I mean, I love it. You know, I probably don't get any of this thing probably can do so much more, and I don't even know what it can do. But I love it, man. I think it's a cult thing, bro.
It's a cult thing?
It really is, man.
Okay. Favorite borough, not the Bronx?
Wow, man. That would have to be, I'm saying this begrudgingly, Brooklyn.
Brooklyn? Why Brooklyn? Don't say
it's between,
back in the day, my
no.
girl.
I think it's between Brooklyn and Harlem, but there's some things about Harlem for me is just a little. I love Harlem. I think Harlem is a great place to be.
You ain't watch your mouth, but you know it's front. Like, it's not your step.
Yeah.
Watch your step.
There's something about Brooklyn that I've seen in the area of just kind of cultural revitalization. So they're moving forward very quickly. Now, I'm not saying that they're not doing it in Harlem, but there's something taking place in Brooklyn that, in spite of all of the bad press and all the things that have been said, and even all the things that we've seen, they still keep pushing. And I think that's, for me, that's been, they rocking. But they're literally, it's between Brooklyn and Harlem. It really is. And I'm really slightly leaning to Brooklyn.
Slightly leaning to Brooklyn.
Slightly.
Okay. Keep it clean.
Exactly.
Keep it PG.
Clean that up.
Keep it PG. You know, you sit next to a Harlem cat. You might not get out of here, bro. You might not get out of here. Back in the day,
Okay.
did you prefer the Dookie chain, the shell toes, or both? If you had to pick.
If I had to pick, it would be the shell toes.
Really? Not the Dookie chain?
Nah, because they were hollow. They was hollow.
The real ones were heavy as bells.
No, yeah, but
Who can afford the real ones?
Exactly.
We all know who can afford the real ones.
Exactly. So I remember, this is real quick, I should throw it in there, but I remember one year I saw a guy getting run. When I was growing up, he was being chased by a group of guys for his chain, and one guy caught it from the back and pulled on it.
And flinged everywhere, right?
and all these little hollow pieces just flew. I was like, oh, shoot, it's hollow. Because you're thinking these guys are carrying all this weight, man. How you keeping your head up? You know what I'm saying? But yeah, definitely the shell.
Okay, last question. How many times a month do you get a haircut?
How many times a month I get a haircut? Now, probably once. Prior, every week.
You was every week, dude?
Every week I was getting a haircut, bro. Then my hairline got crazy. So
It's leaving me.
it's like I gotta hold my head like this to look straight.
It was over here. Like, what happened?
So then I just kind of, you get old. It's just like whatever. I'll just cut it down when I get tired of it. So so now it's like once a week, once a month.
There you have it.
No doubt.
30 seconds and gone. Freestyling off the dome. I'm nice with mine. I'm nice with mine. I'm nice with mine.
Crazy.
But there you have it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Had a great
sure.
time. We can say like we always say, keep God first in everything you do.